All right, welcome back to In the Can. We are very excited to have Sultan Sharif with us today. He is a first-time Sundance director, and he's got a film, Bilal's Stand, which is already generating a lot of buzz. One of the nice things about this film, and by the way, welcome.
Thank you.
How you liking the snow so far?
Well, I'm from Michigan, so...
Yeah, and so am I, by the way. It's nice to meet a Michigander as well. So, yeah, you know cold weather.
Yeah, it's no stranger.
Snow. Tell us a little bit about your experience. This is kind of a neat film because there's a brand new category we talked about earlier called Next, and you're a part of that category, and it kind of focuses on films that have a very low budget, or in some cases no budget, but it allows filmmakers to literally pick up a camera and go tell a story, and that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, we actually made the film. We were on the no budget end of it. We made it as part of a youth program in the city of Detroit, and so what we did was we taught high school students and college students about the filmmaking process, and then we would sort of send them out as sentinels, and it was basically like, we have no money, so hustle as hard as you can, and then try to get as much as we can, and it pretty much worked out.
Now, did you expect to actually create a feature film out of this? Was this just a project, a way to get kids involved, or did you actually have okay, we are going to make a movie, we are going to submit it, we are going to show it in theaters?
Yeah, we started from the get-go. We want to make a movie, and so I studied film at the University of Michigan, and so I had a general understanding of the process, and I had produced other student films and stuff before that, and so we just wanted to kind of dive in and tell the story, and so it came together. It was kind of a rough process. It actually took 3 years to make the film, and so we'd shoot some and then stop and raise some money and then shoot some and then stop, and so it kept going until we finally got to the point where we were like, okay, no more, we're done.
Isn't that kind of the spirit of independent film, though?
Yeah.
You do what you can, and then you go back to work.
Yeah.
You get the check, you come back, you make some more, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the film itself. It's called Bilal's Stand, and the stand is actually a taxi stand.
Yeah.
It's a family business in Detroit, and the young man here is kind of caught because he is either going to inherit his father's business and keep the family business going, or he's going to pursue his own dreams.
Yeah. And so I wrote it based on my experiences growing up in Metro Detroit area. My family owns a cab company, and so it's a great thing, but it can be a difficult thing sometimes because you can always work at the cab stand. Like if I called right now and said I needed a shift, they'd bump me in tomorrow and I'd go start working. And so, but it can kind of be difficult too because you never go too far because you always come back to the cab stand. And so I've seen lots of people who may have had opportunities, but they chose not to pursue them because the cab stand is this sort of safety net, you know, and you know you can always work and have a shift. And so, and a lot of times when I got into Michigan, and it was really a challenging thing. Like, you would think it would be so great that this kid from Detroit gets into college, but a lot of times it's confusing because you're going to leave your friends, and then a lot of times in the Metro Detroit area, when you're coming from a lower income background, everyone works to keep the family up and going. You know, everyone contributes to this bill or that bill, or here's some gas or here's some food, and so to pull yourself out of that, it can be really scary sometimes, not only for you but also for your family, and it can be a really just really difficult process to work your way through. And so I really wanted to kind of show that too on a national level and get that story out there.
And the fact that Detroit, I mean, especially right now, you know, with the economic crisis that's going on, Detroit really has been kind of a poster child for hardship. I mean, you talk about, you know, national levels of unemployment, of economic downturn. Detroit really has kind of created the upturn of that. So, yeah, you really are speaking from firsthand experience here, and not only the importance of family and things like that, but the importance of, well, I've got to make a living, and do I take the chance? And so Bilal really is, well, it's you, isn't it?
It's me, and I think a lot of young people in Detroit, like our generation, we're the kids of the middle-class auto workers and or working-class auto workers. And so for them, it was a perfect option to graduate from high school, you get a job, you get in the union, and then you can live off of that. And so the majority of people in my area were raised with that attitude. You go and you get a job, and then you work. And so now when the kids of those folks, people aren't used to the college process. Most of our parents didn't go to college. And so for us, it's not an option to go and start working for Ford or GM or any of those because they aren't hiring too much right now. And so then you got to figure out something else to do. But a lot of people's parents, like I know for me and a lot of my friends, we had to figure out the whole college process ourselves because it was something new, and our parents didn't have any experience with it. So for all the forms and moving away and dorms and all of that kind of stuff, we were the pioneers sort of trying to forge our own way. And so it's really confusing. So it's sort of my story, but it's also the story of, I think, a lot of young kids around like Detroit and other inner cities that are coming from that kind of background.
Well, let's take a quick look at some of your story. We have a clip. This is Bilal's Stand.
Bro, she do be stalking though.
Why is she working so hard? Just to ask about a letter.
I got a letter from the University of Michigan.
Oh. I didn't know you were thinking about going away to college.
I'm not. That's why she be hounding me.
So, you gonna go?
No, Ma. I'm going to the city college right down the street. I ain't trying to spend all that money.
Okay.
In the morning, we walk over to Keisha's house to get picked up for school. Every hood got that block you just hate walking down. You got your dope boys, your scrubs, your crackheads.
I think get your crackhead ass out of here.
What up, B? Why you ain't calling me?
Your chicken heads.
Man, you always got excuses.
Or people who want to charge you gas money just to get picked up.
Bird, man, come on, man. We was only 4 blocks away.
You know, I'm watching you watch this, and you're like, I mean, how close were you to this story? I mean, obviously, you're behind the camera, kind of telling your own story a little bit. What kind of experience was that for you?
It was really awkward a lot of times because we took like a sort of neo-realism approach to it. So a lot of the actors were playing like versions of themselves, and things that they had experienced in their personal lives were kind of put in the script basically, and they were aware of it. So you'd kind of have to instruct people to like relive certain moments of their lives, and then we shot at my mom's house, and that clip was right in the neighborhood where most of my family grew up, and
so that was very real for you.
Yeah, it was really weird, and then it was kind of awkward at times too, because the majority of the crew were like U of M students and high school students from Detroit, so you had this weird like intercultural thing going on. So like that area, like in that clip, was like the ghetto, like that's the projects is, and so we brought all these U of M kids who are mostly from like the suburbs and stuff. So they're like holding the boom and they're like looking around, like and they've never been in that type of area. But it was actually really cool because so many people in the community, like even for that scene, it was a rainy Sunday, and like 100 extras came out within an hour, and we didn't pay anyone. They were just like, "Oh, you're shooting a movie? Can I be in it?" And then like some of the people got lines, and I'm like, "You say this," and then they'd be like, "Okay."
Instant
and
actors.
Yeah, and it really worked out well.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a great film. We look forward to seeing it. It premieres Monday night at the Yarrow, 9 o'clock, showing obviously all the way through the festival. Bilal, Stan, thank you, Sultan Sharif, director with us, and that will wrap for this interview. We'll be back with a little bit more right after this. Stay tuned.